Hi, welcome back to Late Nights with Sydney, and tonight our guest is Andrew Stern.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Sydney.
Okay, great. Let's get right into it. How does your product use or challenge conventions?
Well, our product in many ways both challenges and uses conventions, but mostly follows typically in the thriller genre. There are many key components to film a successful film. Using the conventions in our case was easy because all my group members and I had a lot of experience watching movies within our chosen genre. Even before the research part of the project, we discussed that we wanted to work within this type of film because of our interest in it. We studied that with a lot of thrillers, there is also action involved. We decided that we definitely wanted to include that into our movie, and we started getting excited about filming it. That was the main convention we found ourselves using. We strategically planned our filming and our storyboard so that it would give off an intense affliction and suspense. For example, we had a few action shots that intensified the emotion of the scene. We had the characters running away from the police, and the group member behind the camera ran after them. This is a common convention found in movies within this genre because of how it submerges the audience into the conflict being experienced by the characters. One thing we focused on quite a bit was angles and lighting. We had to make sure that our project gave off the effect we wanted it to have on the viewers. Therefore, we stuck to the following conventions. For example, a shot we used multiple times throughout drawing our storyboard and filming was the wide shot. When we were studying different films, we noticed that certain shots and setups gave off certain moods. For the wide shot, we felt it projected a sort of mysterious and tense mood. That was when we decided that was something we were going to want to experiment with. We also used a few low angles, filming the protagonist's face to give off the feeling that everything revolved around him and his problems. With lighting, we knew how to follow conventions, but also wanted to try and pull things off from other genres. The typical suspense movie has a dark, brooding lighting, which had a lot of that in our film, especially when we filmed outside. You could very well get the sense of mystery that we were trying to give off. I agree that it's also good to step outside the box, so we added in some bright lighting during certain scenes. During the negotiation scene in our film, you can clearly see the characters and their surroundings. That goes to project that they know about each other, and now everything can be seen.
All right. Well, how does it represent social groups or issues?
Well, when it came to talking about what message we wanted to leave the viewers with, we struggled. We felt that we had a great idea for the plot, but did not want to leave the audience without a sort of message. We analyzed our film and decided that a huge factor of it was the bond that is created between the two characters. In the beginning of the short, the viewers can see that the two protagonists, well, they're enemies, and they work on two different sides of the operation. As everything progressed, they have to end up running from the police together in an attempt to keep all evidence of their vigilante activity hidden. This goes to show that, although you might not get along with someone or you have different stances on things, it doesn't mean that you can't work together when it comes down to it. This is a lesson my group and I were very pleased to intertwine into our project. We are very firm believers that it is crucial to be able to put aside differences with someone you work with and be able to do everything you need to together.
All right. Next question. How does your product engage with audiences?
Well, our product engages well with the audience because it's entertaining. We have found through research that some of the most well-known movies are action thriller movies, like ours. An example is the film Snowden. It is a very well-known movie about a hacker attempting to protect citizen national security. This movie followed similar plot lines to our film, in the sense that it is focused on a hacker and the way their job affects their life and their family. When it comes to the action, audience love action films and have successfully supported multiple high-grossing films like James Bond and the Fast and Furious franchise. Something we discussed thoroughly as a group was how well we get the viewers invested in the plot. We decided that by giving the main characters a time limit as to when they could retrieve his wife, we will have the audience on the edge of their seats. The main character works extremely hard to get back his wife, all while keeping information away from the government. The mindset will project onto the audience and they will feel like they are a part of the action.
Okay. Well, how would it be distributed as a real media text?
Well, the first way we would distribute our product and get it to reach vast audiences would be by making it real media text. This is because it's a movie, or at least the beginning of one. If we did it this way after its release, we would be able to continue its success by making it into DVDs and Blu-ray copies. These methods are not as efficient as a movie theater would be, which is the primary way of distribution, but it serves as extra coverage for those who do prefer physical copies and a way to watch it at home. Another method to distribute our product would be certain streaming websites, like YouTube. YouTube is a streaming platform that reaches millions of people on a daily basis. Videos on this website usually are shorter than streaming platforms. For this very reason, my group members and I feel that our product would excel on this website, because people go to a movie theater to watch films, they go to YouTube to watch a shorter video. Aside from those distribution methods, we would have to also stick to the more mainstream options and branch out to streaming platforms like Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, etc. These are very successful platforms and get millions of users. These would be even better than a movie theater because of the fact that our project is so short, as opposed to a full movie. If it were to be played at a movie theater, it would be better before a movie because of the fact it is not a complete one. It would be played during the ads.
Okay, well, I was wondering, how did your production skills develop through this process?
Well, my production skills developed very well throughout this process. The entire project has had a meaningful effect on the way I see production overall. My production skills have changed a lot throughout this process. In the very early stages of the project, I, along with most of my group, was unfamiliar with the filming used on a camera. I had not been the one filming in my previous projects. This made me realize that we need to think multiple steps ahead and have backup plans. With lack of experience using a tripod and a camera, we were unsure how to keep it balanced and sturdy. We needed someone, and we needed to consistently adjust the height and the sturdiness of the camera. The first thing I was able to figure out was how to change the height. I was able to do this with the help of another member from a different group. Not being able to work with the balancing and sturdiness of the tripod, we decided to go and use the iPhone 11 Pro. It was previously approved for this project. For being our third project, I was very familiar with the types of angles and motions used while filming our movie. Right away, we were set on filming every type of angle and movement that was a requirement to complete our film. After crossing off all the angles and movements, we were able to focus on the rest of the film. We made sure that everything flowed smoothly, and any outside effects we're going to have implemented, we left space for. Our group became more comfortable with editing our project, and this was the third time we've done something. By looking up some videos, I was able to learn how to operate our editing software more professionally and efficiently, I believe. This allowed me to help the members who had the sole job of editing complete their task.
Interesting. How did you integrate technologies such as software, hardware, and online into this project?
Technology really was the biggest factor of this project. It helped with a lot of things. The first type of technology we were able to intertwine into our project were our phones and computers. These were an incredibly crucial part when it came to communication. Because the three of us lived in different cities and we were so far apart, it was never as easy as just meeting up or getting together to film. Grabbing transportation everywhere was difficult and it would never work, so we knew that doing everything through the phone seemed to be our simplest, most convenient option. We knew it was going to be useful, but we didn't expect the pandemic that ended up affecting us so heavily. When COVID-19 hit our country, we were no longer allowed to leave our homes, go to school, or meet up for filming. This made it impossible for us to create any refilms or re-edits that we needed to do. We had to rely on group video calls, text messages, emails, and other things to share our ideas on how to make up for the missing clips. We were able to bring missing clips together and make them flow with our film by using our technology available to us. We would film things at home that made it seem that it was in the same place and just edit them together. Not only did we use technology for communication, but we also used our devices for research. They came to be very helpful when it got down to studying certain films and their conventions. We were able to use our phones and computers and laptops for blogging, which we did a lot of because of how fun this project was. The blogs that were due every week were easily accessible online. It made it simple and easy to go back and look at what we did when we were missing information. The blogging was an efficient method when it came to keeping track of any steps we needed to have or any plans we had for our film. At first they were tedious and we didn't enjoy having to do them, but we slowly started to understand the purpose and the aspect of these assignments. It made it easy to keep everything organized. That's where the online portion of our work came in play. It was simpler than keeping everything written down on paper because we could only have it in one physical copy and there was multiple of us that would go home to separate places. Aside from being used for simpler things, we also ended up using our phone cameras to film. We originally had planned on using the cameras, SD cards, and tripods our school provided for us, but we struggled due to some specific issues with them. We struggled with the SD card because it was more complicated than we expected. The sturdiness and height using the tripod was also not completely efficient due to the terrain we were filming on. Not only that, but the computers at our school that we were allowed to use in class were very slow and took a long time to complete any tasks. Loading videos and the Pinnacle editing software was a very time-consuming process. Because of that, we decided to use our phone cameras to film and the DaVinci Resolve editing software because of one of our group members who had previously had experience using it. That ended up helping us out a lot, and it really allowed us to work quicker and more efficiently. We all stuck to our talents and we each had personal parts in the film. Joaquina helped with directing a script because she wants to be a writer and was extremely invested in the topic. I worked on setting the lighting because we decided that it would be a good place for the mood and the tone that we wanted to have in the film, and that's why we filmed it at my house. Ben, or Benjamin, being our talented editor, had the job of piecing it all together and making it look super pretty for you guys to enjoy.
Wow. Thank you so much for walking us through your journey. It was amazing having you on the show tonight.
Thank you, Sydney. I really enjoyed getting to walk you through my process and how we came with this project. It's something I hope to inspire anybody else who's listening, and I think it's a really good way to reflect how I appreciated and how I grew throughout this project. I loved getting to film everything. I had a blast, and it was such a fun idea that it was my favorite project that I was currently working on with all my other studies. Thank you again. Have a great night.